Greeting my valued viewers, presenting the P-38 Lightning from Fiddlers Green. Yes, it's missing its guns. This fork-tailed devil was a beauty, is a beauty. Let's begin. Go check out fiddlersgreen.net. There you'll find hundreds of models for you to choose to build from. Now let's begin. Presenting the P-38 Lightning. Now, this is in 2 sheets. As you can see here, I could increase it to be a bit bigger, but we'll stick with this for now. The wings, the landing gear, the fin and rudder, the boom air intakes, the nose landing gear, and this is a 1995 kit. As you can see, it's a pretty thick card sheet. And here we have the right-hand fuselage boom, the spinner and prop, engine plate, the cockpit and canopy, the left-hand boom. And here, the instructions on how to put this model together. So, let's find the tools we need to get this done. My toothpick. You'd be amazed at how much you can get done with that. Aleene's tacky glue. I have spoken about that ad nauseum. Super glue. This you're going to definitely need. Scissors. Tweezers. Salesman of tweezers according to one of my commentators. And cake decorating tool. And my multi-purpose tool, taking glue, knife, my ruler. Need a bigger ruler probably, so I got one, steel rulers, okay, and my cutter, and pretty much that was it. My technique always has been just cut the parts up, this way easier for me to build. It's a beautiful kit. You may notice a sheen on the canopy. I painted it flat before I assembled it, so that's where that sheen came from. Yes. So here we have our pieces. So let's start with the central fuselage pod. Nice detail. Let's see how good this can look. Cutting out the channel for the 50 caliber machine guns and in later versions cannons, yeah? So take those pieces out and now pay attention to how I did it. Besides rolling the top, we then roll the sides a bit, and then we put the tip of our brush handle in the middle to press it, yeah? And look what happens. It helps form it quickly. We do a test fit. That looks good. So we just tackle it a bit at a time. Right now, I am doing the underside of the pod. Then I join the sides and it comes together quite nice. It's amazing that this is a kit from the early 90s and then redrawn a few years later, still in the 90s, and it came out pretty decent. And here you see the assembly going quite well. I loved how this turned out. You know, with minor corrections and updated repainting, I can clearly see Fiddlers Green being so fascinating to coming generations in the future. Oh yeah, please subscribe if you haven't. I keep forgetting to say that of late because, you know, I just rely on you guys to just enjoy the content and consider that yourselves. And then we continue the traditional, like we did with all other cockpit and fuselage. We roll, we glue, and you notice I am not putting any glue on the tabs. I'm putting glue literally on the fuselage, and the tabs I leave secured. Because they're smaller and they'll become softer with glue, even though the glue is quick drying, I find like this helped me tremendously. So it's just a minor addition or detail that I've done. And here we join now the rear half. We check the alignment of the aerofoil and we place it. Nice. Now it says use a pencil. For me, I just use my toothpick to roll it. It still works. It still works beautifully. Nice. And then, of course, we put glue there and join it. Now to get that part fastened properly, we slice where the canopy is going to be so that when it's covered, we won't see it. And then we use our tweezer to lock everything in place. I've cut an extra hole and I've put a penny in there, a coin, for weight, nose weight, because trust me, I have a feeling it's going to be tail heavy. The canopy assembly now. This, I told you that I already painted the glass section in my silver reflective paint that came. It's a watercolor paint, okay? So hopefully you can find that at any art store. And then in typical canopy fashion, I just roll the parts needed and then carefully join. And then once we do our basic join, you'll see where the cake decoration tool comes into play. You see I just do a little curve there. We join up this here. I think the windows and the pod is so unique to the P-38. It just stands out and makes this little devil a beauty. And this is where I use the cake decorating tool. If you notice, I am trying to round out where the joints are to make it look a little less angular. It does help. It may not seem that way, but it really does help. Then we put glue at the base and then we join. Look at that. Beautiful. For a kit that's from 1993 to 95, this is a beauty. And there we have it, our cockpit. So the wing assembly, pay careful attention now. We use our steel rule to cut it out, and we're going to do things a bit different. We're going to increase the structure of this, and it's the usual thing of cutout. You use a steel rule for the leading edge, just fold over it. We use our paintbrush handle to roll the edges and to put the cord in, which is the curve in the wing. Press it against a flat surface, and to make sure it doesn't bubble or warp, we use our ruler once it's dried enough to flatten it. And then we repeat the process for the other side. Now this is where things get different. Alright? Once we have done this, we're going to put holes at 4 points. The forward point of the fuselage. We then use a toothpick and bend at a slight angle. So that will be our dihedral, the slight upward bending of the wing. We put it not exactly at the tip, but close enough to the tail end of the fuselage. We just break it that way. And then we put in the middle the top, if you notice, and then at the bottom. So at 4 points, it's there, like a compass point. Then we slide the wing over. Okay, look at that. It looks like it fit. We did a dry fit, so now we put in place. And there you have it. And we lock up everything, put a tip of super glue and just pull it along the joint area, and it works beautifully. We do the same to the underside. We repeat the process on the other side, and there. And we have it. We have it. That's how the wing was formed. Slide the dihedral up and it works. It works. Strong wing. Can take the booms now. So the boom assembly, the one time we go through it, it's going to be a bit lengthy, so follow me here. We're going to cut out and deal with the rear section, the middle, then the front. We do a pre-roll, just a gentle roll of the boom, because the boom basically, if you look on the cross section, it's oval, okay? So we're going to cut it off the excess sheet. We cut out the notch for that area. Is for the stabilizer on the outside, the stabilizer tip. We use our brush handle to bend the edges, and then we're going to roll the middle eventually, but the edges is important. Yeah? And then when we finish do that, we're going to glue this in 3 steps. First, I'm going to do the tail section of it, a third, just to align where you see those red stripes are. I just check the fuselage panel. There are always guides on the kit. If you look at how the panel is shaped on it, you just align those points. They usually help you with making the model properly aligned. And then the front. Now bear with me. At this point here, it's looking pretty good. We flatten everything pretty decent, maintain the oval shape, and bam, the rear half done. Supercharger and all. Alright, and now we're going to do the middle section. So once we roll the centerpiece and we join the underside, now pay attention. The kit, yes, it's a 95 kit, so maybe not all the parts are 100% accurate. Here we're cutting out the area for the wing to slide onto, and we repeat the process on the middle section here. Nice. And we slide. Now, when you're doing the kit, you're going to find, like where I'm gluing now, it's going to be the middle section slightly larger than the tail section in terms of the joints at the bottom won't mesh properly. It's a little bit bigger, the middle section. It's a little bit wider. So just adjust accordingly, okay? That should not be a real problem. And then we cut the front section out of the boom and we break apart. And then we are cutting out the nose plate. Alright? So this nose plate, if you notice, it's compound curve. So it bends in one way and then it spins around another way. So just pay attention to that when you're doing the nose curve. Okay? So here you see I'm joining the front. Fold over those things, and you see how I'm using the tweezer to slightly bend the nose. We put some glue on the plate, the nose plate, and put it in check. There. And then just pay attention to where the prop blade is and where the intake is. There's a slight inward bend. Once we lock that, we just adjust the front to fit the midsection. Once that's done, again, you put glue not on the tabs but on the panel and slide it. And you should be good. Just put the tweezer in where the wing opening is and just try join. And yes, you will align the air intake for the section that's green, painted green, slightly, and it will be out of alignment on the outside. Don't worry about it. Here now we're putting on the intakes. The engine intake, we cut that out. use our toothpick and roll it, and this will cover that slight misalignment. Don't worry about it. Come on guys, give it a break. This kit is almost 30 years old. Hand drawn, might I add. And there you go. Nice. If it's one dream I would probably have for Fiddlers Green, just dreaming alone, is they do computer design all their aircraft model, all their aircraft offering, computer design, and do accurate repaints. This would be incredible, and it just start like 1122. It would be great. The spinner assembly, this now, you cut the spinner out, and then pay attention here. I'm using my knife blade to make cuts in the nose of that spinner, and then I'm going to use the edge of my brush handle to roll it, so that way it won't form a point. It would more be blunt at the tip. Okay, and then I use my cake decorating tool and press the base in, so that way it looks less like a pointed tip or a clown hat made from paper and more like a spinner. Once that looks good in place, we just simply glue in place, leave it to dry. Boom, a boom is there. No pun was intended, but hey, that works out pretty well. Now the air intake at the back, it's a simple 1-2 as we would say in my country. We cut it out, we then cut the midsection out, paint the inside, roll it using toothpick, bend according to where it needs to be bended and glued, lock that up, and glue in place. And then we repeat the process for the other side. Let me tell you, for the boom, it is the air intake at the front, the spinner, and the supercharger intakes at the back that really makes this model come alive. Loving it. Look at this. Looks pretty good. The fin or rudder assembly now, here's my thing. Pay attention to where the numbers are. So this is on the outside, so okay, good. Just look for the insignia and it will tell you also where the number's supposed to be. We roll the edge off the fin rudder. We put glue on the edges, put a dab in the center, put a toothpick there so that it won't be flat. Press it against the surface here so we have straight edge. And then we put there. Now careful to check the alignment, okay? You see how that's twisted? We try to make sure it's straightened and we're good. For the boom and wing alignment, you're going to do a test fit. So here we have what we built. Now, look at what I encountered. I put this in originally. Look at it. You see how it's twisted and it points down? So I made a mistake somewhere and I'm not quite sure. So to adjust it, it needed to be up. So I had to make a little cut under here and a little cut above the top there. That way the wing will be able to twist, and I make the same adjustments on the other side. So that way the wing, the boom, will be able to twist and align itself accurately. Everything's supposed to be level. Okay, and you see that panel line, use that as a marking spot. Now that we have all of that done, we're going to install our stabilizer and then we're going to join the boom. So the first thing is We cut the stabilizer, fold it like how we were doing the main wing panel. And then we're going to put a toothpick inside once we do it. So it's basically the same procedure. Put a curve in the edge. Put the toothpick in the middle. Lock it all up. Press the tail end so it remains flat. And then we're going to cut off the tips. Okay. Now this here, we're going to put a hole. It doesn't really 100% matter where you put it, long as it's in the middle of where that slot on the outside is. Find the part on the other side. We'll put a toothpick through. Then we can slide and check where it is. Yes. We slide the stabilizer on. Nice. Make sure that it's right angle. Repeat the process on the other side. Then we're going to put it on. So basically, now we have our model. At this point here, we just want to make sure that's roughly in place. That looks decent, aligned properly. And then we're going to tack the booms in place. Once we're sure where that boom is going to be, we use crazy glue to lock it in place. Here you see me there putting on the underside and then shifting in place. We check that, alignment, good. Lock it in place with super glue. So we're good. And then we can lock up the stabilizer. I found that this way was the best way for me to get the proper angles and to make sure everything was aligned. When we're finished, then we can focus on the other side of the boom on the wing to make sure all of that is proper. And then we put our stabilizer tip. Lovely. And there we have our P-38. Now let's finish this baby up. Nice. Landing gear installation. Remember, this is a kit from the 90s. So it's a simple fold, cut out, put a slice of a toothpick in. Nice. And that toothpick there is to straighten the landing gear, yes? Cut off the excess, make a slot where the landing gear is supposed to be, and it is at an angle slightly out, okay? Repeat the process with the main landing gears, okay? And pay attention to when you're finished completing the model, it's supposed to sit with the nose pointing slightly up at the end. So you see where I'm putting the hole, put it in, we super glue it in the end, and there we have it. Lovely. Time for the prop. Simple 1-2 again. What we do, take our prop, paint the back side of the prop. Okay, silver paint. For me, you can use gray if you don't have silver. Cut the props out. We're going to then put some slots where they're indicated on the spinner where the prop blades would have been. And we just slide them in place. Once we are sure where they are, we then put super glue. And this is our P-38. Liking the look. Let's finish up this baby. So remember I told you it's a little thing? It's a little thing. Like the aerial mast and the painting, the wheels, the edges, the prop tips, Everything contributes to making this a beautiful warbird. And here is our model. Thank you so much, guys, for helping me bring this to you today. And to my Patreon members, thank you so much. 454 Ambagadas, you know yourself. Thank you so much. My friends, take care, walk good, one love.